everybody. I hope this video finds you doing well. I'm having my morning coffee. I've had 4 days at my new job. Yesterday was really hard. I had been told I'd have to unload merchandise at 5 a.m. And then before I left, she said, you'll have to be here at 4:30. Whoa! This is a whole new ball game, but I'm not unfamiliar with it. I've actually had a couple of jobs in these types of stores when I was younger. So it's kind of funny, you know, how life works, you know. In a way, it's like I've come full circle. But, you know, I'm getting broken in slowly, which is good. 4 hours the first day, 5 the next, 7 after that. And then that early morning shift. I put on my peppermint essential oil because my back was really hurting everywhere. And then I took a shower and laid on my heating pad. I can't believe what a difference that heating pad makes. Why I have not been using it every day, I don't know. It gets pretty hot. But as long as I have on some pajama pants, yeah. So I was able to be physical. You know, I like to be physical. Even with that, it's not as hard as the other work I was doing. I was able to come home and stay awake for another 3 hours, which I cannot do once I get home from my other job. So, yeah, that's going to be good. And I'll still be able to start putting away some money every month. I hope you are able to start doing that yourself. Now today is Friday, and I've already burned my pink candle yesterday. So I'm using a red candle. Look at those spirals. I absolutely adore candles that have the spiral. That's another way to raise energy. Set your intention, let that energy just build up until at the very end when it has its final burnout of the flame. I had something remarkable happen with a silver candle that had these twists in it. And I bought this at the store that I'm working. I haven't named it yet. I'm kind of on a 60-day probation. You know how it goes. And someone that I don't think I'm any longer acquainted with somehow figured out that I was working at this particular store and came in and asked for me. This is an example of people who just don't recognize, they don't understand, they don't know, and they don't care about personal space and boundaries. And I haven't even told my respectable friends on Facebook. My Facebook's been private for years. So I've alerted my manager, and the associate told me in the office with my manager there. But, and this might be a little mishmash of topics. There are several things that I've come across that I wanted to talk about. One of them is a viewer who sent me a comment. And I asked one of my spirit guides, can you please let somebody tell me that something has helped them, they've used it, has helped them? Because I have spent so much time 5 years sharing, and I've only had, I think, 2 testimonies of people that have written me back and told me that they have done what I recommended and it worked. The first one was using black salt. So let me talk about that for a minute. In an apartment complex, which I've said that can be a very hard situation to live in, depending on how much you're paying and how good management is. Walls are generally not soundproof. So this person had had enough of their neighbors and wanted to do something. So he directed his thoughts into this black salt that I had instructed on one of my videos and began tossing just a teeny tiny little bit on the threshold. Now, whether or not there's a camera in the hallway, you do have to be very, very careful. As you walk by, you have your hand in your pocket and you can just pull your hand out and open your fingers. Nobody will know what you're doing. It's such a small amount, nobody should ever detect it in front of their door when they come home. If there's a camera and somebody detects anything, they see this, what looks like pepper all over their threshold every day, you could get in serious trouble. I just watched a practitioner talk about 2 women who were putting some cursed objects in someone's yard. I guess they didn't care if they were caught or not, because apparently they had a Ring camera on their door or a camera somewhere, and because they were doing it more than once, the police were contacted, they were found, and they were charged with stalking. They were separated and put under house arrest for 8 years. And they had to agree to that or they would go to prison. So, yeah, you do have to be very careful. I had been working with someone that I recently I found out, what kind of a personality she was. And I knew very early on when she got angry with me that I should tell her, I think we're done. For this tiny bit amount of money you gave me. You're not happy, fine. We're done. But yeah, this practitioner had mentioned that she had clients who were impatient and demanding. And I couldn't come up with the right words until I came upon her videos. And anyone that's doing that to you needs to be sent on their merry way. So, yes, this young man had said he did it diligently, just the way I described. And after 2 weeks, one of them moved out. And then after another week or 2, the other one moved out. And I was very grateful to get that testimony. So you are taking responsibility for your frustrations. You're doing something with your thoughts. You're directing them in a positive manner, right? Those 2 weren't getting along. So he gave it a little push, and one of them decided to leave. So that's a testimony. And again, just be very, very careful. Now, another testimony is from a woman I haven't really watched for a while. She just told me that she's been following my instructions and she's watched videos from time to time, especially on the ones where I talk about banishing negativity. You can use a black candle for that. And if you have some kind of issue with black, then you can use another color. But if you anoint that candle, set your intention, and burn it to banish the negativity out of your life. She said she was doing that. She might have also been taking a shower or a bath And she said she had had a curse put on her that she didn't know was affecting her life for many years. Things just were not ever really going right. And she found a newfound strength. She is a very sensitive, watery sign. And it started to make her feel empowered, right? Victorious instead of victimized. And that's when you are strengthening your psychic self, your energetic body, your aura, and your confidence and your knowledge that I don't have to deal with anything that's been thrown at me. I can dissolve it. So whether you do a return to sender, or you dissolve it, or you wish for it to go back and affect that person in the same way that's affected you for those years, that would probably be considered a cursing. And that's a whole nother animal in itself. And then beginning to listen to some real practiced people like Clifford Hartley Lowe. I started listening to his videos more. He's got some very interesting points. One of them is that you do really need to be have had worked on yourself and your magic for more than a year. It is considered an advanced practice. Some people are actually just born into it, to be doing things to protect someone, really, or to send back and cause the horrible pain and suffering that they've done to another person. And that's what those are really for. So it's really a highly specialized area. But some people are kind of born and dedicated to that. And he also mentioned that you should do some other workings as well for happiness, and you should do blessings as well to counterbalance that. Very interesting. It's on Grimoire TV. So I highly recommend that you go and at least listen to that, because as we know, whether we believe in it or not, doesn't mean you're not going to be affected by somebody's thoughts and feelings directed towards you. Some people are stronger even though they don't walk a path or practice at an altar. So one thing that's helpful is these spiral candles, and then I've put my Astarte oil on it, and it just kind of wound itself down. And I do still have several bottles of these. If you'd like one, you can email me. And then I have all my intentions here. I do like the people that I'm surrounded by and working with. And I've been a customer of that company for many years. And it's not so big that you're constantly being pressured to work faster, work faster. You know, those companies have a very high turnover for a reason. The stress is too much. So this woman is very grateful that the company pushed me to take this management position. And I've been working for years. And until I got to Stellar Magic, I'd worked with a lot of realms. I think I've reached my magical maturity. They say there are 12 realms. I believe I've worked with all of them. And the stellar magic is the most difficult and complicated to work with or to master. But if you keep working with it, you align yourself basically with the stars. And they say that you could even ascend when you pass away to that realm. And if that's your heaven, then that's your heaven. So, I also have my Venus talisman here, which I made many, many years ago. I had left it at the bottom of my goblet on my altar. And after about a couple of weeks, I noticed these little silver deposits. I've never had it analyzed, but I feel completely blessed. And I felt very, very grateful that I had created it correctly. And I got this from one of Silver Ravenwolf's books, I believe. Or from the Key of Solomon, I don't remember. But I've used it a lot, so it's definitely got energy. And I store them in a little box. And I've also got my pendant here. If anybody wants one, let me know. They are consecrated. And then this little tissue paper with hearts. The staff is having some changes that they're having a little trouble getting used to, and they're a little defensive. And so I am working to soften their heart and have them realize that I'm there to help and I'm there to guide, and that they do have to respect me. So anyway, the manager talked to me about that, and she's been there a month. She has had to work a lot more hours than she wanted to. So that's why they pushed me to go over there and be an assistant, because she needed time off. She's trying to get me to the point where I can do everything within the next week so she can take off. And I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to have to sit down and take notes today. So yeah, this has just got to definitely soften everybody's mind and heart towards the changes, which they really don't want to do. There was things that were not being done that should have been done, and they are openly resisting, refusing actually to do it. So she's treading lightly. She's very experienced. And I'm grateful, and I feel lucky to have a woman who is ahead of me and training me. So that is basically, I guess, what I wanted to say today. And you know, the star goddess, Astarte can definitely help you with softening people's hearts. And this was an area that I had never considered, because when I worked with her, she showed me that if I was to show or to feel love, and this happened while I was asleep, to my daughter, which was not what I wrote on my petition at all, and my daughter showed it back to me. The next day she paid the phone bill. So this is why I could see firsthand her ability to soften the hearts of females that are either too busy or too caught up in themselves to realize that you do deserve some compensation or some consideration in one form or another. All right, that's it. Have a wonderful day.